Ladies and gentlemen, the longer the longer waited, highly anticipated is Friday, and it can only mean Terry Michler, ladies and gentlemen.
So it's finally Friendly Friday, Kevin. Thank goodness. But what a week you've had. I think your guests this week and the presentations they made have got to top the charts, man. It's quite possibly could be the best week on record that starting 11 and thereabouts has produced. Good job. Congratulations.
All right, then. All right, then. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Friday Terry, and TM, Friday TM, and we have for the United States High School. Now I'm going to say it again. United States National High School Champions League starting 11 or thereabouts with Terry Michler, ladies and gentlemen.
Kevin, if you get a cue card, maybe you could more easily get through the introduction of that.
I have thought about that since the beginning, and I have.
It's more natural when you stumble your way through it. So don't change that. Just keep stumbling, mumbling, fumbling, style. All right, Kevin, I'm going to work backwards real quick. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do a quick review of the past week, and then I'll do my topic today. And I'll try and keep that somewhere in the thereabouts category. So let's work backwards. Yesterday, Thursday, a great presentation from Siggy Nagel when he introduced us and gave to you his 12 steps in the college planning process that he uses based on his experience over the years and dealing with over 1,000 people in his line of work. So if anybody that's interested in the college planning or want to know more about what Ziggy does, look back to yesterday's episode number 69 in the U.S. National High School Champions League, starting 11, episode 69. Great job there by Ziggy. On previous days, episode 68, you went down to Florida and found a high school coach down there, Ethan Figner, and he gave us a bunch of information from his experience as a player and coach in the Champions League. And then on Tuesday, you had one of our local ladies, coaches Fort Zumwalt South High School, Leanne Sanders, and she gave us good information about how it's impacted her program. And she did a great job in giving justice and credit to all the people that were involved in making this work, particularly at the high school level through the athletic directors and the scheduling and then the availability for college coaches to take a look, see it, people. And the interesting point she made that I liked was that Champions League in the pool play, we allow ties. And she said with our schedule as compacted as it is, it's okay to have a tie because it saves the players that have to go extra time, overtime, because they got so many games they have to play in a short period of time. So I thought that was a good point. And then on Monday, the bookends, I'm the Friday guy and Dave Ehrenberg's the Monday guy, and he opens it up and I close it. But he made a great point about he made a lot of good points. I really like when he talked about what he called soft skill of high school soccer and how the academy program has now kind of redefined itself. Instead of being a pathway to the pros, now it's a pathway to college, which what high school has always been. But he talked about the soft skills and how high schools in general do a great job dealing with the soft skills. And I think that's I'm speaking on my own here now, I'm not speaking for Dave. I think that's partly because the high school is affiliated with the school, so it's part of the overall educational process. The club stuff, I think, is more strictly in the athletic realm, but the high school is athletic, academic, combined realm. But he did challenge me a little bit to refresh the point that I made the previous week about my idea of a club soccer structure. I think it's pretty much agreed that everybody has an opinion about pay to play, and there's a lot of dissent about pay to play. But I think the reality is it's not going to go away. So, given that it's not going to go away, how can we best deal with it and use it to our advantage as opposed to disadvantage? As I see pay to play right now, I think it's like putting a blanket over everybody, and everybody does the same thing at the same price. But my point is, I'm not sure that everybody's in it for the same reasons. So therefore, I think I have an idea, and I'll review it real quickly here to make it more individualized and affordable for people for what level of soccer they want. Here's what I mean. The first level for me would be recreation. Kids that just want to play a little bit, socialize, experience soccer without the commitment that other higher levels of involvement would expect. Just let kids get a taste of it. Nothing wrong with a recreational program. The second level, then, I would call local, and that's where you would get into leagues and tournaments, but there'd be no travel. You do everything in your home area, and that would cut down on costs considerably. My third level would then be travel. For those that are serious and want more out of it and want to experience different competitions, see what the other part of the world's doing in terms of how they're playing. So you have a travel division. And then the fourth one would be, I would call it the academy or the pathway. And those would be for the 1%, quote unquote, that actually have the ambition and the desire and the skill and everything needed to really pursue their abilities to the highest level and play at the highest level. But that's not for everybody. And I keep getting into the impression that when we talk about youth soccer, we're only talking about it in one level, one plane, one dimension. And that's, we want to produce players in the youth level that can aspire to become professional players. And I think we really missed the boat on that. We need the youth level to be there to get players involved in playing soccer, enjoying soccer, appreciating soccer, and staying in the game as coaches, administrators, referees, and fans. So, not every player that's going to play has the ambition to want to play at a high level, but they might want to play just for their own reasons. Their friends are playing, socialization, so on and so forth. So I don't think we need to pigeonhole everybody into being that player that has to develop into something special. The game is such that it allows everybody to play it on their terms. So I think we need to broaden the scope a little bit. My idea is to have a rec level, local level, travel level, and academy level. And I think that would be one that would best suit everybody concerned. Okay, that's my review. And one last thing, Dave Ehrenberg on Monday also used referenced the term that soccer has kind of gotten to be a call to nowhere or a call to nothing. In other words, where does it lead to? In my experience, being a high school coach for forever, senior night in high school has gotten to be now the big event because there isn't much competitive soccer being played past that night. Senior night usually comes towards the end of the high school season, and then you have a couple games and you finish it up. And for most, that's the last competitive game they're going to play. And the used to be that that would continue into college and whatever might be playing beyond that. But because of the conditions in college and professional right now being overloaded with international players, the opportunities for the homegrown kid has been reduced tremendously. So look at the senior night as being a much bigger event than it ever was before because of the changing landscape. All right, now that's all introduction. Now my point comes along this line. My first point I want to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about my theme today is going to be about high school soccer tryouts, which for in Missouri and for many other states will be starting next week. So this in Missouri is considered the dead week, the week before tryouts start, where there's no activity or association allowed between players and coaches and schools and facilities. Anyway, So one of the things I want to talk about is an activity called rondos. Rondo. It's comes from the word round. Round means like a circle. Rondos are games that you play in small groups. Basically, it's a keep away game of soccer. And I have a story to tell about, which makes a point. Todd Bean, developer of the Tobo method I've talked about before, uh, he had a group of American players. Todd Bean is located in Spain, in the area of Barcelona, Spain. Uh, and he had a group of American players from Southern California a few years ago. And they were in, I think, the under 18 age group. And they were over for experience of Tobo, some kind of an international camp. And he had them play in the Rondos game, a little keep away game, X number against two, whatever it might be, 4, 6, 8 against two, in a confined area, keep away game. And he said the American kids were having fun with it, emphasizing fun, and we're joking and laughing and cutting up, but not really taking the activity seriously. And he said they really weren't getting much out of it. And they didn't look at it as anything that they would get anything out of it. They just looked at it as kind of a blow off activity. Once he reintroduced the meaning of the drill, the value of the drill, uh, the approach they should take, what all the benefits were from a soccer point of view, what all the learning points, learning moments were, he said all of a sudden things started to change gradually. He said each day he saw them be a little more serious, take a little bit more interest, and improve their overall level of play. But in rondos, the thing about rondos that makes it so special is that you're in a confined area. You've got a number of players. You've got a fast moving ball. You've got opponents trying to win the ball from you. You have just a millisecond to make a decision and execute an action. And it has to be uh, successful. Because if you're not successful, you get to go in the middle and try and win the ball. And all of that stems from the 3C concept of TOVO. I've talked about this before: the cognition, the competence, and the character. Rondos is a great example of those putting those three into effect. Cognition is a decision you have to make as the ball comes to you about what your next move will be. And that decision has to be made prior to the ball coming to you, and it has to be made as a result of your scanning to determine what options you have. So you look and you check over your shoulder and you see what's available, where are the teammates, where are the opponents, where's the passing option, and then when the ball comes in, you try to execute that pass. The execution of the pass is the second C. That's competence. Do you make a successful pass under the limited time of space and time and opponent? Can you execute a successful pass? The third C is character. If it goes wrong, how do you react? Do you lose it? Do you blow up? Or you stay level? You go in the middle and work to win the ball back. So you have cognition, competence, and character, three keys of TOVO training, all in one drill, a simple drill of a rondo. I thought it was a great illustration to just kind of pinpoint the fact that an American player, and he probably could have used any group of American players that might have been over there, is that we tend not to take that activity as seriously as we should because we don't value the learning process that's involved in the activity of it by itself. So it's a lot of little things that make it different. And I'm going to talk about that as I go on here. So that's my first point. Taking an activity like the rondos into a serious activity for all the benefits it provides. Second point is that standards are really important. I'm a big guy on standards. The standard is an acceptable level of performance. It's it's the level that you will accept. Okay, and standards can run the gamut. Uh, Example: if you have a working environment and you're told the boss tells you be at work at 9 o'clock, and you show up at 9:05 regularly without consequence, well, all of a sudden the standard that was set is now changed. You've created a new standard because you said I'm going to be here at 9:05. I'm not going to be here at 9 o'clock. That's the standard. So if you want to maintain the standard, the original standard, there has to be a consequence. So set standards in terms of what you think is realistic and what's achievable, and then maintain that standard by having a consequence, and not allow that standard to deviate. And the best way to develop standards, I think, and I've done this also, is to come up with what are called non-negotiables. What are the things that you don't budge on? You know, there's no gray. It's black and white. There's no fudging around. Can't get out of it. Can't wiggle your way out of it. Non-negotiables are what they are, hard and fast, and those lead to and build into standards. Um, my next point. This would be point number 3. Point number 1 was rondos. Point 2 was standards. Point 3 is simple. In order to get it right, you got to start it right. If you don't start it right, because here's my thing, and I've used this line a lot of times with my teams over the years. And it's about habits. Habits are just things that you do so routinely that you do them without even thinking about them. But here's the thing about habits. Habits don't know right from wrong, good from bad. They just know that this is how you do it because this is how you always do it. So I use an example of a short passing technique. And what I do when I watch players do passing activities, I look for the angle of their foot as they make contact with the ball. If they're making an inside of the foot pass, the proper technique should be the heel is down and the toe is up. And you're getting the ball in the pocket of the inside of the foot. But it's heel down, toe up. I see so many players with toe down, heel up. And when you do that, you don't have the same surface area on your foot to contact the ball. And consequently, you can't be as consistently accurate as you could possibly be. So start right, get your foot in the right position, heel down, toe up, and then strike the ball in the middle of the foot in the pocket, and you're going to have a better chance for success. Start right, stay right, and you'll be right. The fourth point is that I call attention to detail. And attention to detail is simple. It's not just a matter of how you do it, but it's how you do it right. How do you do it right? And I have a 3-step process that I use to help move this along. One is always do whatever you do. First thing you do, first level of doing it is to do it right. Know exactly what you're supposed to do. Get a demo, pay attention to it, and don't be in a hurry. Do it right to start with. And that might mean just do it from a standing position, and then a moving position, and then a more active position. But go fundamentally first. First do it completely correct. Then secondly, after you've done it right, now do it better. Do it better, okay? And then the third phase is to do it faster. So do it right, do it better, do it faster. But don't reverse it. I see too much where it's done fast before it's done right. And then it takes a lot to go back and work backwards and get back to normal. The last point is little things make a big difference. I'm a big believer in that. And what about little things? Well, you have to have an eye for it. You have to know exactly what it's supposed to look like, and that's your measuring stick. Knowing whatever you're doing should look like, whether it's a technical activity or tactical exercise, whatever it might be. There's a way to do it. There's a lot of ways to do it. Some are better than others. Some are right. Some are not so right. Some are actually wrong. So knowing what it looks like is a key, and then insisting that it be done right down to the smallest little detail. The little things end up making the biggest difference. The more you let little things get by, the more problem you're going to have down the road. So nip it in the bud. Start right, stay right. Do it right, do it better, do it faster. And don't let little things get out of control. Keep little things under control. Kevin, those are my points today as high school tryouts are starting to begin. These are things that as a coach I would convey to my players, and things that I would look for when I'm trying to identify who's who.
Terry, thanks a lot. Holy moly, man. From your lips to the United States National Soccer Federation's ears, who comes around Hoosier and says, "Hey, Wales, no more rondos. Get out of this rondo stuff. And hey, playing futsal? Get going. What are you, nutty?" It comes, I mean, from the top. That you can't even do a rondo right? There is no system that can handle that type of incompetency. And I can't say enough. You have lit the whale. And I have to go into a special room off of the Balloon Boom Studios in downtown Holly Hills to get zen. Because, I mean, what you said is the basis from the top down. And
Kevin, anybody that's seen Spain this past World Cup have seen the evidence of rondos. Those players, as senior as they are in age, every single one of them started with a very steady diet of rondos, and they stayed with it all the way through.
And under full disclosure, I was with you on the a couple days, a weekend with Todd Bean, and he presented that. And there was a couple times he asked a question, and I kind of like acted like I was, invisible, and others are trying to search for an answer, and you came up with an answer, and he said, "Bravo, man." And that was some good stuff, man, because he brought the gift. And, when the wise men come, man, you got to take the gift. So this is the United States, and whoever the Argentinian is, or whoever he is, I could care less. Let's see it. Let's see it. What do you got going? And I think myself, just like you said in Spain, hey, you're 8 years old, you're beginning grassroots. This is how we do it in America. And you're you're under 20, you're playing for the World Cup. This is how we do it in America. You go first team. This is how we do it in America. If you don't want to coach it, don't come around. See ya. And
Amen. Hallelujah,
brother. Hallelujah. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been the we call them sessions here at the Starting 11. Sessions number 70 with the United States National High School Champions League Starting 11 or thereabouts with Terry Michler and Kevin Whalen. Thank you, Terry.
Kevin, we're getting closer to my age now. Session 70. We're closing the gap. We're getting closer to my age.
Special celebration. All right,
you're not that far off yourself, youngster.
Boom. Yeah.
You're right around the corner, if I'm not mistaken.
69, yeah.
That's what I thought.
All right.
All right, brother. See ya.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you.